I'm so happy to introduce you to our next artist, movement artist and longtime community collaborator, Brooke Smiley. Brooke is an Osage artist and educator who enlivens public art experiences as both diplomacy and education. Rooting in risk and love, Brooke engages communities and processes to uplift the complexity of contemporary Native identity across generations. One of these processes is earthworks. Earthworks are collaborative community markers that integrate traditional earth architecture with contemporary safety standards, all while amplifying Indigenous voices and messages as foundational to the process. Markers include life-size primitive sculptures, talking circles, children's playscapes, and fire pits, to name a few. Leading from community need, Earthworks creates a sacred space inviting Native and non-Native participants to breathe relevant meaning into where we gather and why, investing in multi-layered spaces that simultaneously bridge Native history into the present and future. Please welcome Brooke Smiley.
Have Zani. Hello, everyone. Blessings, Brooke Smiley here. Wajaji, Osage, body and earth, artist and educator from the Chumash lands and waters, a place where who I am and the strengths of what I offer is in direct relationship with the local San Ynez, coastal and Barbareño bands of Chumash Indians. I am from a family of builders. As a fourth generation plumber, I grew up underneath houses as a way to spend time with my family. Who knew that spending so many hours underneath houses would teach me how to listen, not only to water, but to how to work with all the elements that surround us and harness their strengths. My dad grew up with a sign that was passed down from his dad, and it said that plumbers protect the health of the nation. I believe that artists do too. And we not only protect the health, but we manifest ways to improve it. I became a California general contractor, license 980256, as a way to bring integrity to working with the earth in bridge Native and Western cultures with contemporary safety standards. And grounding in Indigenous relationships to land and somatic education. I invite people of all ages, abilities, and cultures into collaborative spaces of learning. I begin first by introducing what body and earth practices are available to slow down, to listen, and to heal. Working as a community to remember the history underneath us, we discover messages true to that place and true to our bodies that want to come forward, not just from the past and the present, but want to be carried on into the future. Teaching people how to build, whether it is an earth marker or skills to build a home or a playscape for children and adults alike, it inspires our bodies to be curious again, to play, to crawl, to touch and be touched, or to be quiet and learn how to relax. It's an empowering lifelong skill that people take with them and they're able to pass on to their families. What I appreciate about being with the earth is that when you're in contact with it, it brings out a truth. Gathering around a circle and building ring by ring, it brings us in touch with an intelligence deeper than our own, creating a space for our bodies which wouldn't normally exist in society. It creates a space where we can meet and hear each other and learn something new. What seems like the hardest work and building and getting wet becomes the most joyous and brings people together despite our differences and despite what hardships we may be experiencing. I've had the pleasure, absolutely, of working across urban and natural environments, building a place for women to recover from birth in with the Tarahumara at the bottom of the Copper Canyon. And I've worked with the Havasupai, people of the turquoise waters down at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, or 8 immersive playscapes outside the Hayward Gallery in Queen's Hall to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee on the South Bank in London. And lastly, on Anapamu Street, which also means rising place, in Santa Barbara with mud from the recent mudslides, a place for people to come together and heal. Super Adobe has been sought after by NASA, received the Aga Khan Award for Architecture, and has been featured in Vogue and HGTV. Somatic earthworks are embodied activations of change, catalyzing deeper awareness for evolving environmental, indigenous, and social justice realities. Each work is unique to the land and the people it is with. And earth markers are living invitations to honor relationships, both present, primitive, and future. I ask you to invite us how we can work together to deepen these relationships and strengthen your communities. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you, Sozo, for having me. Blessings.